Chilekupu. Obugo kere lukala. Anyị na-atụrụ gị mma. Lekwe ndị bịara nga m ugbu a. Ọ bụ ndị nshi na Rapid Television. Ha bịara ka mụ na ụlọ bụ mkparịta ụka. Ka mụ na ụlọ bụ mkpa ife gbasara omenala. Madachi Chilekupu ejiri bịa lejiwala. Nna m shọ bịara nga m abịagbule m ya nga ịla mkpukpu apụla ya n'azụ. Ọ bụ ọjị la anyị na-eji anabata ọ. Ọ bụkwa na ọjị la nna anyị njiri lụọ nwaanyị lụọ nne anyị. Ọ bụkwa na ya da njiri ga anabata we. Ọ bụkwa na ọjị la anyị na-eji anabata ọbịa ya. Ana m achị Chilekupu mkpa abịaruwa ma enyewa ọjị aga wee ta ọjị tata mma. Anyị ga-eta ọjị tata udo. Anyị ga-eta ọjị tata ọganihu. Ọ ga-edoro Abia steeti mma. Ọ ga-edoro Naijiria mma. N'aha nke nna na nke ọkpara na nke mmụọ nsọ. Amen.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east.
Igbo kwenu. Kwenu. Kwenu.
Eastern Circle.
Good morning, Southeast. Good morning, Nigeria. This is Eastern Circle on Rapid TV, reaching you live from our studio here in Umuahia. And like Michael would always say, it is a good day and we should rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Adeze Ewim. You're welcome. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Ada. And good morning to you. Welcome to yet another day on Eastern Circle. Of course, we are alive. We are awake, just like the sun has risen. So it's a good day to be here. And of course, I'm glad that you're able to join us. And glad to have the week start as well. How was the weekend, by the way?
I had to take my treatment.
Okay.
So much stronger.
Yeah, it's great.
Fine, yeah.
You're looking strong.
Thank
you know what happens over the weekend? A lot of beautiful things like weddings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes every time it makes the weekend for me. And you know, love stories are usually beautiful. Maybe until they are not anymore, but
as long as it lasts.
As long as it lasts. Well, I think I should actually begin with congratulations. They are in order. Enugu Rangers, for instance, they actually took the NPFL title, and so congratulations. I'm not a football fanatic, but congratulations are still in order.
What I remember about that particular league is what happened at the stadium with that's Enyimba, right?
Yeah, it was a frack, but
you know a little about football, Michael.
Okay. And I think over the weekend as well, congratulations still in order. And it was one Erastus on social media that's also kind of with their social media proposal, and everyone like, oh God, when, and then as if that was not enough, rude boy of P Square got his wife.
Baby number one to push
baby number two. Wait, calm down. Calm down. Now, when you hear that, take baby number one to push baby number two, I want you to just think about it. What comes to your mind? What do you think he was talking about?
There's been this rumor that Ivy is pregnant, and you know he recently came to Bende local government.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
To pay her dowry. So at least they are traditionally married
Mm-hmm.
and probably expectant. And he asked her to use the new car,
Mm.
which is baby number one, to push the baby number two.
It's good that it's coming
Odogu
from your
twins,
mouth.
Michael.
I did not. Odogu twins. And I know that's the kind of stories you want to hear.
Yes, who
I
wouldn't?
quite understand. It's okay. It's okay. But you know how this thing is. My challenge with such shows is the kind of pressure it puts on people who are on the social media space, especially young ones. I was looking at the comment section of that post, and I'm like, a lot of people are really, they're already over the tops with how they feel about this, and that kind of sets some standards for them. So if you're getting into a relationship and your boyfriend or your man is not buying you a car, a Benz, or anything at all, that is not a worthy relationship.
So you want to tell
It's
me
making it hard
everything
for
on social
people to
media
find
must
regular
be
good love
to-
stories out there.
to impress or pressure anybody. That doesn't mean people shouldn't put out good things happening to them on social media. We are the ones allowing ourselves to be pressured. Nobody is putting things out there to pressure anybody. If you allow them to pepper you, the pepper go reach you. If you not allow them to pepper
Okay.
you, the pepper no go touch your body. So
But
try relax
okay.
and live your life.
Look at how sensitive the situation is, and how sensitive it is on the social media space, and how sensitive the people, especially the young ones, are to stories like this. How about these people who've been up there quite a while? They understand this. How about they tone it down a bit so that they don't get to drag people into undue pressure without even knowing it. I know sometimes when we say, yeah, it's my life, we're showing, but at the end of the day, you're not just living for yourself. It's a social media space. A lot of people are there looking up to you.
Michael, why is it these things that are bringing the pressure? Do you want to tell me that these celebrities or persons don't do anything positive that you are attracted to?
Oh, they do.
Why is it only them trying to show off a little of affluence and all that is the one that is pressuring you? Those people that feel pressured, I think they have little witchcraft in them.
Anyway, it all depends on how you see it, because like I said, people are different. Social media space users are all different.
Exactly.
This same thing you're saying now, there are people it will be, you won't see a trace of it on social
Michael,
media.
this
I
is not
feel
the first
that- yeah.
person who is giving,
No, definitely not.
giving the wife to
Yeah.
be or baby mama a push gift.
Yeah.
There are people that give the gifts probably after the woman has delivered. So he decided to do his before. It mustn't be a car.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Good.
Now
So-
consider also this marriage is only about 2 months old, all right? And then there's vehicles flying all over the place. Now that's also what I'm talking about. It puts that pressure on
Michael,
people.
are you pressured?
I'm speaking for everyone. I belong to nobody. I belong to everybody.
Allow them to speak for themselves. Please don't. be
You will still
pressured
say
by
that. You know
people.
that is the point. Most times we don't even know how far deep we are
Exactly.
until we see it show in our daily lifestyle, on how we relate with other people,
Yeah.
and how we attend to people who even come to us to show us care and love.
Exactly.
By the time we
have that
we don't know.
expectation of what we
Yeah.
actually want, and if they're not measuring up to it,
It's
not.
you see yourself
You don't have that
like
standard.
zoning off. It's crazy.
Exactly, I agree with
But
you.
nonetheless, yeah, it's a good thing. Congratulations. Celebrate as much as you can, but also understand that the social media space is not for the weak. Not for the weak in the mind. Anyways, that being said, of course, welcome once again. And of course, it's more congratulations because right here in Abia State, getting started with what we have for you. We go on a short break. Of course, when we get back, it's a congratulations to the Abia Unified Task Force. All right, I'll tell you more about that shortly after the break. Don't go away.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east.
Ta 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 Igbo kwenu. Kwenu. Kwesoro.
Eastern Circle.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eastern Circle on Rapid TV. The Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti, has taken delivery of innocent buses procured for the smooth operations of the Harmonized Task Force across the urban centers in the state. Harmonized Task Force was created to enforce all government policies in the state, local government and MDAs instead of thugs who were illegally extorting unsuspecting citizens under the guise of working for the government. Yeah.
Like I said, it's congratulations, isn't it? So to the Abia Unified Task Force. You know, sometimes when I say these things, and I'm wondering, Unified Task Force. Okay, so we have a bunch of them, and then we're unifying them. So the idea is for effectiveness, and that is what we want to see, isn't it? So, but then we should be able to have a system of measurements. They're just starting, all right? So I do hope that the government also has a system of measurement where we can over time say, okay, the idea of unifying the task force actually has paid off or not.
That's good.
Yeah.
Congratulated the Abia State government. But don't you think this number of buses that was given to this particular task force would have been used for something else? You remember last month, that's early June, there was a ban on the time of operation of tricycle,
tricycle,
popularly known as keke, in Abia State. And we all know what it's like moving in, let me use Umuahia as an example, between the 8 p.m. to, let's say, 9, 10, 11. We know what it's like. You can't get tricycle by that time, even before the ban. So wouldn't it be more effective if it was invested in purchasing probably mini buses that can be used for transportation between that time? Because this particular task force has been in existence, Michael, whether it's nicknamed Harmonized,
Unified or Harmonized, okay,
or whatever. These people are all over the town. If you get to Ishigate and see what is happening there, you will marvel. Now, what is the essence of this particular harmonization and delivering of these buses to them? What are they going to be using it for? You need to see these people chasing keke riders up and down, asking them for their weekly or daily ticketing. You need to see these people harassing street traders, those in the markets. They pay for this ticket before you say Jack, another group of persons are coming with their own ticket. No, who are they remitting these monies for? Are they really harmonized, like the name says?
So these are questions, right? Begging for answers. And that's why I keep saying that, first of all, it's a name, a very nice name, Harmonized System of Task Force. The idea is to make sure that monies that are supposed to go to the state account goes to them, right? And we talk about recruitment process most times. So we don't want a situation where the same people we want to get rid of
are still the people in the system,
kind of find their way back into the harmonized task force system. So is there also a means of, you know, selecting or choosing these people? Yeah, I understand they're taken from the various local governments and all of that, and the idea of giving them the vehicle is to make their operations smooth, so they don't get to, so they get to drive around and pull up in government branded vehicle while doing their jobs.
Michael, it's not about picking different persons from the local government. Let's take, for instance, now, I think there's a policy in Umuahia that you shouldn't dispose refuse from a certain time to a certain time. I think it's 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, if you want to set up a task force, wouldn't it be wise if it gets people from the Abia State Environmental Protection Agency? You don't just go and get people from anywhere. Most times they don't even know what the default of these persons are. They just, what they're after is, once I get a defaulter, he or she is paying a certain amount of money, and probably he's getting a percentage from whatever that person is paying. That's what they're after. They're not really after trying to ensure that these defaulters don't continue. Sometimes I even feel they pray for the defaulters to continue defaulting so they can get their money.
Well, basically, most times it is like that. And we see, like you said, it's eyesore when you see them dragging steering, dragging wheels, and all of that. And well, just like I said, I hope that we don't we don't create another problem while trying to solve one. So I hope the government has everything intact to make sure that these people are carefully selected. All right, but one part of this that actually warms my heart is the fact that these are innocent vehicles.
Yeah.
Right, so the promotion of local content. Innocent himself has actually identified Uti as one of the major promoters of his brand. So it is a good thing, all right, for the Southeast. And it also goes to the economic situation we have. If we could, just like you mentioned, if this could be injected into the transport system, all right, if this could be injected into the transport system, then like Imo State, at a point they banned tricycles as well. But at that period, it was mostly made in Nigeria vehicles, including innocent vehicles that were used, minibuses to do transportation there.
Exactly.
So all of that put in place improves revenue and all of that. So we will want, yes, the governor has said yes, based on the banning of tricycle, there will be
been suspended.
He was going to discuss and get in CNG vehicles, and of course Innocent has a plant. In fact, from what he said, he has a factory separate where they are dealing with the CNG conversion buses, definitely, straightforwardly. So if this could be harmonized into the system, not just harmonizing task force now, harmonizing CNG buses, bringing them into the towns and all of that, at least to ease transportation, aside dealing with the climate issues and stuff, that would be a major boost. But then the problem also here I find is communication. I think communication is important, because now we have these buses brought in. What happens to the information, like you said, the people who they are going to be dealing with? Sensitization to say, okay, now this task force is in place, this A, B, and C constitutes violation.
What you should not
exactly
do.
So that people know, and these are something things that are supposed to repeat on a daily. The media should be taken advantage of to sensitize the people. Let the issues that they are tackling be all over the place, so that people know.
Sometimes they don't even know what they're being fined for. You just see them on the road, and the way they go about it, it's not civil at all.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And another area when I talk about information communication, is also the fact that governments on their parts should be strategic with information dissemination. Now, earlier this year as well, regarding this vehicle situation, you remember somewhere last year, after the administration was inaugurated, the government promised they're going to get Innocent special brand of vehicles for the lawmakers. So it took a number of months. Now it was in April this year that the lawmakers came again and said yes, they have visited Innocent and they are building what they talked about. So this is not supposed to be the regular vehicles they just go and get. So they're supposed to design a special brand for the 24 lawmakers. And then what happens? In June, the lawmakers came publicly and accused Innocent of breaching the contract. It was just a few days later that Innocent replied with a statement on their social media handle to clear the air. And from what Innocent said, the government did not even pay at that point. So they accepted the contract. They've been designing and sending samples for them to confirm, the government made some changes and got back to them and all of that. So now, if you look at it, you realize that somehow, somewhere, there's been this miscommunication. So either the government didn't properly inform Innocent, or Innocent didn't. So there's this breach of communication for these people go public, these other people go public. It doesn't look well. And first of all, when you make such a statement publicly that a brand reneged on their contract, it's a bad image for the organization.
Yes.
So these are the things we don't want to see. Communication is very vital.
It is.
It's something with what's going on with the ministry and now regarding the minimum wage. The government right now is saying, oh, they've not received the 35,000 naira wage award. That is why they've not paid. But this has been going on, and people at some point, the civil servant protested. So why haven't this information? Why
they
did
taking time?
Why
to
does it have to
disseminate
take
this
so long?
information? Exactly.
So that is why I feel. So what then is the Ministry of Information doing?
For
What are they doing? Like they're supposed. So my point is the way they are harmonizing task force. I believe this government should harmonize. We've had a guest here who talked about this something. The way the government goes about information dissemination is important because that's the image making of the government. You don't want to give the wrong impression out there. So I believe the government should also harmonize their information dissemination system so that when the government is speaking, they're speaking with one voice after carefully thinking about what they're going to say and investigating whatever the situation is, so that when you speak, it doesn't look like you're speaking from one side of your mouth, and then the next time something comes back to bite you in the back.
That's true. And once the information is passed the
Yeah.
rightful way, I think the people that they're passing these informations to, they should also give them a little time to actually assimilate and work towards doing those things they were asked to do.
Yeah.
Because probably you might say, all right, there shouldn't be shops certain places. So you have to give them time. You don't just come out today and say there's
Exactly.
no shop here today and next tomorrow you're there to bring down their shops. They should be given a time frame to be able to
And
do
in
other
most cases also alternatives. All right. If
Exactly.
you're saying that you shouldn't trade here, then you provide a suitable place for them.
That's true.
I mean, and it's also important that we do all of that. And still speaking about information, though, regarding this Southeast patronizing Innocent, it has been an issue for a long time now. I think it was last year, Aisha Yesufu also accused the government of buying Toyota security vehicles for. That was when Operation Crush, I think, was inaugurated. So they got about 20 Helios vans. Toyota Helios. So she came on board and accused the government of not patronizing the Southeast or made in Nigeria products like Innocent, for instance. Then it was even Innocent at some point that came to clear the air that, oh, what happened was at that point when the 20 vehicles was demanded that they didn't have the capacity to deliver within the time. Alex Soti was very quick. He was quick in getting into action, so he didn't want to waste time. So within the time frame the vehicles were needed, Innocent could not deliver. So that was why they had to opt for what's it called now, the Toyota Helios vans. So but all of these things go in because we can't say we are not patronizing, because even the last government of these states, Okezie Ikpeazu, bought Innocent security vans for the police back then. And then I want to ask the question, so where are those vehicles now? Because now we are getting another set of security vans for the same police people. So what happens to those ones? What's the system of maintenance of this government's properties? Where is the continuity? So what happens to them? Do you just phase them, or are we trying to say within the space of 2019 and now those brand of vehicles, then they all got damaged and phased out? So in as much as we want to be proactive and reduce costs, these are the areas we need to take advantage of. Continuity in government. These vehicles have been bought for security people. If they need maintenance, you work on them, make them usable again. We don't have to keep buying fleets and fleets of vehicles. I'm talking about lots of money here. So it's important that we look at all of these things, especially as a government, and then put the people into consideration so that we don't waste all the money on vehicles and then projects are lying fallow.
Yet you make budgets also
Yeah.
for maintenance.
Definitely.
So they should also get this budget that is made for the maintenance of these government properties. So,
Yeah.
and they can carry out the maintenance. If it is not done,
Yeah.
you should ask questions and know why these things were not done. Sometimes when I
Exactly.
see some police vans on the road, I keep wondering, is this for tipping sand or is it actually for
A lot of them are actually in the bad shape. Very true. Very, very true. It's crazy. And then you wonder how, where are they coming from? They got the driver from the station, and that's like it's carrying the Nigerian police as a brand. Doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
And
So
it's commendable that they keep patronizing innocent. And I think all other southeastern states should also do the same, and not just the vehicle brands. There are other brands, there are other things being produced in the southeast. We should encourage. We have the Aba shoe making industry. We should try to wear our own. And
you know, back then when you say made in Aba, it was like when you say made in China those days. You can't even say made in China now with the same mindset you say it about 10, 20 years ago,
That's
right?
true.
So industries grow, systems grow. China has been able to do that for themselves, where as we stand now, I mean, you can't talk about a developed or technologically advanced nations and you don't call China. So all gone are those days when you say, it's not made in China. You don't say that now anymore. So I think Abia State, Aba is also getting to that point where when you hear made in Aba, what comes to your mind will no longer be substandard product. So systems grow, and it is governments who would inject resources, who also believe that a government who is progressive in nature would see these things, inject money, and see to it that the system grows. So that, you might not enjoy it in your time, but future generations will thank you for what you have done.
Exactly. All right, and that's the size of our package this morning on Eastern Circle. Thank you for joining us. We'll take you back to Abuja for the rest of Rapid Done. See you tomorrow.
Good morning.
Okay.